What up? What up? What up? Happy Tuesday, everybody. We back at it. It's your man Dame DNYDC, aka Damon Cunningham. For those of you who know me, it's my partner right here, Big A Sam Adams. What's good on this Tuesday night, Big A?
Well, it's Tuesday. What can we say? I can't believe that I'm saying we're in the middle of doggone September, man. Like,
Right.
God, dog, like it's flying, which is crazy. But as always, everything's totally wonderful. No issues, no complaints.
I
Just
know that's right.
I'm ready to dive in because I know we have a lot to pack after this past weekend. So
Man, it's been a lot. It's really been a lot. And we were talking, backstage, man. Just some things that we were just trying to really just come up with. It's been one of those intense kind of weeks, if you will, with a lot of other things, and we wanted to keep it light. And you brought up
yeah,
the Dame Dash situation. For those of you who may or may not have seen the conversation with him and Charlemagne the God and everything, just kind of really going in, man. I mean, it was one of the most tense conversations that it wasn't even a conversation, really. It was trying to be nice. It was like a bitch fest, like
yes.
just
How
it got
petty
real.
can you be?
Thank you. There you go.
That
How
that, that
petty
that's what it evolved into.
that devolved right into,
Well,
and
devolved,
when,
yeah,
yeah, it totally spiraled out of control. But like
right.
you and I were talking about, you seeing some of it. Like, what was your take, man? Because outside of the pettiness, I was trying to find like the deep rooted conversation that could have been had. Because Charlemagne does have a way sometimes, and I know that's his role on the show to be the antagonist. But like
Yes.
he was he went to a whole nother level, I think, in this conversation. But I'm curious to get your take on it because Dane brought up some good points. He never really went at Jay, or he doesn't go after Jay-Z a lot, when it comes to Dame and the different
Yeah.
things that he was talking about. So I'm just curious to know, like, what is your take, on this de-evolution of a conversation?
I don't even know where to start. I like you said, it was difficult for the fact that like Dame whole purpose up there was kind of like to fact check everything that the Breakfast Club was saying and everything.
Right.
But then it made it kind of difficult because then when the questions came up, he was, what I'm saying, blocking them like Ip Man, what I'm saying, and deflecting to some other stuff and everything. So I think that's what made it hard.
Yeah.
And he was like a walking contradiction at the same time too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He was like, well, I'm not going to be petty or be messy, but then you bring up certain instances that was messy and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not here to bolster or brag about myself because I don't need to because I'm a boss. But yet he sat there and he talked about, how he's the CEO of Revolt now. He brought up all his projects. At the end, he brought up the diss track about doggone 50.
Right.
And I'm like, you got like a emo rock artist like doing the diss track. I didn't hear the diss track. I really did want to check it out.
I wanted to check it out too because
I was curious to see that, but I'm like, you got like a metal rock star like doing a clapback with a disc record. Like,
right.
is that what we evolved to? Now, what I will say is the only thing that I appreciated was when his OG got up there and he was talking because he was like super sincere, and I like how he was kind of trying to keep Dame at bay. Well, keep everyone as a whole, because he even came over there and he stated like, I'm not here for the rah and what y'all doing here. Like, I don't mesh like that.
Yeah.
I do love how he brought up, taking care of your household and everything. And he was talking about, when his wife turned ill and, eventually passed away. And just him giving back to the community and everything. So out of that whole segment, that hour and some change, that was like the deep impact or conversation. And I took more away from that than the back and forth between, Dame versus Charlemagne, Dame versus Envy. Jess was even trying to keep the peace and keep everything at bay and
trying to
smooth
keep the
everything
conversation
out.
on track. Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, you have Charlemagne coming over here like just being, Petty McGee and just doing these jabs and everything. And I'm like, bro, stop. Like, just shut up for a moment. Let's breathe and like try to, just break this stuff down.
Right. Let's have a dialogue.
Like,
right. Let's have a dialogue. Because I that was the same thing. My thing was, I wanted to really, I was hoping to get dialogue and get deeper into what was really going on, because
Yeah.
a lot of it too, like when they were talking and Charlemagne talking over, it sounds very personal, right?
Yeah.
And never really got a chance or an opportunity to really dig in and really get a clearer understanding. Other than, I mean, really, just sounds like one, you don't like, you don't like him for whatever reason, and
Hmm.
you're testing a grown man, and you know, I'm not saying that I applaud or want to see violence, but any man, anybody's only going to take but so much. And I
Yeah.
thought it got to a point where it got so disrespectful. Then we get into the gay this and the gay that, and
Yeah,
just
that
the
was
the
extreme
whole
too.
the whole tone and tenor of the show. It got kind of disgusting in a way, and it's like, dude, I kind of felt like we weren't here for that, and we
Yeah.
really now, like, if I have to be honest, for me, I have to look at not really Dame so much, but Charlemagne. I know that's what he does, and that's what he's there for. But like, bro, like I can't take this to be credible though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like you really
Hmm.
came in with an agenda to really
Yeah.
egg this man on and really try to besmirch this man's name and everything that he's done, whether you like him or not. I mean, you got Dame
Hmm.
as part of the culture. He's an integral part of the hip hop culture, especially when it comes, the Rockefeller, Rock Nation, all of these different things. I mean, he plays a huge part. And to try to
Yeah. Absolutely.
dismiss him and play him in that manner. What's up, V? Thank you for joining us
What's
here. You
going
know what I'm
on, V?
saying? New York in the building. Just to kind of besmirch him and carry on in that manner. I kind of lost some favor, if you will, or love for Charlemagne and the work that he's done as a radio, host and personality. I kind of look at him a little bit different because I thought it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I wasn't really rocking with it as it went on. I actually got
Yeah.
turned off, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
The more it kept on dragging on, it's just like I said, I was over here like rolling my eyes, like, bro, come on, like,
Yeah,
and then it was like, like Dame said, like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk louder. You talk over me, I'm gonna talk louder because I'm trying to get my point across.
right.
And then you have Envy in the crossfire. So at one point it felt like it was a 2v1 against
Yeah,
Charlemagne, then it was a
yeah.
2v1 versus Dame, then one-on-one between Envy and Dame when he was bringing up like the Rico case and everything, and we didn't even get into that either.
None
But
of
like
that.
it was layers that was brought up, but we never had the opportunity to sit here and unravel anything that was discussed. So uh it was a spicy watch. Like I said,
It
shout out
was.
to OG. I hope that he gets up there a little bit more,
Hmm.
and just talk about what he's doing out in Harlem and everything,
Right.
giving back to the community and everything. uh we don't need to see Dame up there no more.
No, we
We
really
don't
don't.
need that. Yeah,
We really
that was unnecessary. And now I'm like, who's worse? Was it like when Ye was up there not too long ago, a couple of years ago, or this one
that
kind
was
of
more.
take the cake?
I think this one here, yeah, this one kind of take the cake because it fell off all the rails. I mean,
Yeah,
everything imploded. And like I said, look, ratings wise, it's probably great because it was a
yeah,
train wreck. But
yeah,
as someone who really, I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm mainstream or we're mainstream, but as fans and people who do entertainment talk, I was looking forward to at least having something positive to share and talk about.
yeah,
Uh, I just feel like I'm further back from when this whole thing started because I'm like, I have no
yeah.
freaking clue.
We went back to square one. Even at the end, like,
Yeah.
it was like, be humble. Like, we should be talking and working together. Oh yeah, by the way, check out this track I got. And I'm just like, yeah, oh, bro, like, what are we doing?
Side
how we
note.
gonna how you gonna put unity and this track in the same doggone sentence? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know what's happening right now.
check out my diss track that I just released. Yeah, come on, bro. It was terrible, man. It is
It
what it is.
was.
But it's a good way to open up, come in on a light note. I see a couple of folks in the background. Thank you for joining us, V. Thanks for being here. You guys have some questions, some comments, anything you just want to throw out there. Tonight's one of them, it feels like one of them off the wall Tuesday nights. Like, the weather's
Mhm.
bad here in the DMV, and we just having some fun. So, man, just throw it in the comment. Let us know. But right about now, I think it is a great time to kind of jump in, and I'm going to do this in reverse because we
Okay.
had something this weekend that was kind of epic, if you will, at least in the boxing world and how things were going down. And I'm talking about Canelo and Crawford. Now, for those, I don't know how many watched the fight. And I know Sam, you, myself, and a couple of other guys in the chat. I was just
Yeah.
kind of going through the conversation, watching the fight. Now, this definitely was one for the history books, without question. And if we really break it down, what one were you even surprised? Because I know I wasn't surprised um, about the outcome. We
hmm
got two different types of gladiators in the ring, but what was your take on the final outcome of the Canelo and Bud Crawford fight?
I see it from a couple of point of views. My first one, I said it, like, if Canelo was to get him like within the first five, like
Yep.
that was his impact right there. I felt
Yep.
like the more, and I was a little skittish at first too, because I was thinking about just Bud coming up as far as like his weight class and everything, two weight classes
Hmm.
at that.
Yep.
But it came out that that was his normal weight. I thought
Yep.
that he would have, like, his speed would have slowed down and everything. And the answer to that was hell no. Speed
Yep.
didn't slow down whatsoever. My second thing was the performance from Canelo that we got. I know that he's a slow starter normally when it comes to fights, but like, he really wasn't as active as I was anticipating him to be. So I don't know if he already had in his head, like, I know that this was a big cash grab for him. Like, he got
Yeah.
like 130 mil or something like that for
130.
the fight.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, and then like listening to him, post fight, as far as like, hey, I accomplished everything that I needed to. So I, I'm just like, that he walk into the fight that lax. Like, is this his last hurrah and everything? And like we were talking, like I said it, like I felt like I've
Yeah.
been watching doggone Canelo since like 1996 or some shit like that, just because like we've been
Forever.
growing with him, and I couldn't
Yep.
believe, like, when we were going over the age and everything, I'm like, damn, this dude ain't nothing but 35 years old. Like,
Right.
I felt like he was way older than what he was. But I'm not surprised. Like I said, I'm not surprised about the outcome. I'm more or less surprised about the performance that we saw, and to see Canelo so behind the cards that we did.
Yeah.
But he won like maybe 4 rounds, if I remember
I think
correctly.
that's being generous.
Yeah.
That's being generous.
But like, his movements were slow. I mean, Crawford was just, he was hitting him with them three pieces too, and there was
Yeah.
nothing that Canelo could do to sit there and combat it.
Yep.
Canelo was walking him down in the ring, but he never capitalized. Like, once he had him, in a corner, and Crawford
Yeah.
was ready to easily
He
just
had he
like
had
move
nothing for
out
him.
of it. It was a
Yeah.
couple of times he did get him with a couple of body shots, and I'm like, damn, these body shots might take a toll later on. But like, if they did have any type of impact, we never saw it whatsoever.
Zero.
So, shout out to the new undisputed ring
Man,
champion,
he the man.
Terrence Bud Crawford. Shout
He
out
the man.
to Nebraska.
Right.
So I thought it
And
was
look,
just a bunch of corn huskers out there,
and
but there's
I
some
I,
boxers out there
I
too.
want to say this, like watching him. So after watching the fight and really listening and going back, he's been wanting this fight for 2 or 3 years now. He's been calling for this fight.
Yeah.
So that just means what we saw Saturday night or Sunday morning, really. Um,
hmm
he had seen something in Canelo that he figured he could beat. He knew he could beat. And I think
Yeah.
it really just showed one that he's not only a boxer, he's a technician. He went in there with a
hmm
technical understanding of, as powerful as Canelo is, he can't box. He's never been a boxer. We know
Right.
Canelo is a puncher, he's a brawler, he wants to cut off the ring. Everything that Bud did to counteract that, I mean, he first of all, he's older than Canelo, but he
Yeah.
made Canelo look old as fuck. He
Yeah.
showed how
Exactly.
slow he was. He showed that if he
Mm-hmm.
really couldn't get, a good center target on him, he couldn't hit him or hurt him. And there was a point in the fight, I want to say maybe round 6 or round 7. I questioned him where he stood kind of in the middle of the ring with him for a bit
Oh
and
yeah.
went toe to toe. Now I
Mm-hmm.
questioned that, but I get it. Like again, as a technician, he wanted to let him know that I'm here, and even
Yeah.
on your best day with your best shot, you can't hurt
Mm-hmm.
me. Now it was questionable, but it worked. It paid off
Yeah.
because every time Canelo tried to get hot, he hit him with, like you said, that 2, 3, 4 piece, kind of
Mm-hmm.
circled around him, hit him again, 2, 3, 4 piece. So it was a masterful piece of work. And I hope that one, people finally give Bud his credit. But my question is the second half of that though, being the age that he is, because look, 30, he's going to be 37 or 38 or whatever in about
Yeah.
a week.
38. Yeah.
Like, what's really left? Because I mean, you've gone to the mountaintop, but let's be honest, Father Time does catch you at some point.
Right.
Even
Mm-hmm.
with Mayweather, I think Mayweather, no matter what he wants to say or not, even in his greatness, I think he kind of realized, you know what? It's time to go out on top. Now, does
Yeah.
Bud, go ahead and get that final big cash grab? Or do you
Mm-hmm.
think because I really don't want to see a rematch of this, because some people are talking about a rematch.
No.
I don't want to see this again. I'm just going to be honest with you.
No.
But is
I
there
think it's kind
something
of
else?
like null and void. So,
Yeah. Okay. So do you
but
think
I
though
don't know like
that part,
who
that part,
does Crawford fight because he
that
pretty
part.
much beat everyone unless he steps up another class. But it's like, do we really want to see that? Like,
Right. I agree.
um, maybe, and I don't. I really don't know who's a young gun out there, but like maybe the move is for one of them to sit here and challenge him.
Listen,
You know
I
what I'm
will say,
saying?
there may not be a big name out there, but on that undercard, them
Uh
two
huh.
boys, and Billy and
Oh
Martinez,
yeah, yeah. They were. That was nuts.
yo, they were stumping the whole fight.
That,
Now I would say, and I know Martinez actually sparred with Crawford in
mm,
preparation for the
gotcha.
Canelo fight. So
Hmm.
there's two young guys on that undercard, though, even though it was a draw, that was a hell of a fight. And I think that's one or two guys that it may not be the money grab, but I
Yeah.
think could make a hell of a fight, for Crawford to make it compelling, to at least have some young, you got the old lion, the old king, and I don't want to call him
Hmm.
old because he at the top of his game, but
Yeah.
he's the head of the game right now. And to put him in
Yeah.
there with strong lines, man, to see how that, I think that would be either one of them, I think would
Hmm.
be a great fight. And I think, the what's his name, Turkey Ben Allah, and I don't want to be disrespectful because I don't know his full name.
Yeah.
That dude has been putting together some tremendous fight cards, and I think, if he's putting out the money to bring boxing back in the manner that he's bringing, um, are there some other faces or names that you think should be out there so we get away from all of this, Paul Tank fight, Tyson Mayweather crap? Like, do you think there's some other young names out there that maybe we should be paying attention to that should be getting
I
together in the ring?
I can't answer that because I watch like PBO and
Okay.
everything,
Mhm.
but and I look at some of the cards, but it's hard for me to say because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's like, well, I guess at this point, like Terrence will have to sustain the class that he's at right now. I just don't know enough boxers that are out there right
Isn't
now
that enough guy? Well, I can tell you right now, ain't enough in
that
that
can sit there,
division.
yeah, because everyone, like I said, everyone that he's fought, he's pretty much washed, and I don't think
Yeah,
any
he's
of them
washed.
are going to be willing to come up a class. So maybe you're right, with Hernandez and Mbili. Like maybe we should be eyeing those two a little bit more.
Mhm.
I would probably have to, you threw me for a loop on that question, so I need to
Okay.
look and see like who
Yeah,
are like the top
because
ring
like
contenders.
planting all of those other guys. I mean, Canelo's already kind of
Oh
went through
no,
them. They're not on the same.
yeah,
There's nobody, like I said, the old, and it's like any other sport. You rinse
yeah,
and repeat the same guys, but the younger guys that are coming up, like I said, the Mbili's, the interim WBA, champion, and Martinez, and some of the other guys in that weight class. It's time. It's like let's stop rinsing and repeating. Let's get some of these young guys. Let's get them into the mix. Let's make boxing
yeah,
more exciting because the Caleb Plants and all of them of that weight class, we done seen Canelo's basically destroyed all of them. And if if they're in there trying to get with getting blown out by a puncher, there's no way they're going to stand in the ring with a boxer that's a full-fledged technician, you know, like Bud Crawford. There's no comparison. So, I agree, but I just thought I'd throw it out there, and see what we can come up with.
I tell you who don't need to fight him.
Marcus
Vargas Jr.
I knew
That-
you were doing because I was, I said it, man. When we was chatting about, I was like, that dude should have been off air. That fight should have never.
Hey, look, excellent promo. But like when it came to throwing hands, them shits was null and void. I was like, what is happening? Like, this is a whole bag of disappointment.
He didn't want to get hit. And like what's his name? Callum. I was like he was disgusted, man. He was like, yo, I'm not gonna chase this dude all night. And he looked like by the fourth round, he was disgusted. He was disenchanted, and he was like, I mean, he won the fight because the dude that's running, I mean, he's not throwing a punch, he's not engaging. I was like, yeah, this dude just wanted to get a paycheck, and I know his dad probably cursed him out on the way back to Mexico.
Oh yeah, he didn't get a ride.
His dad was a bad dude,
Yeah,
he was a bad dude. So
he really messing up the family name right here.
Oh yeah. It was totally trash. But that was Saturday night, and it was terrible. But we made it through. And who we got here in the comments? Who did I miss? Who we got here? This is Paul. What's happening? Thanks for joining us this evening, man. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the show. Let us know where you're joining us from, man. And thank you for having us kick back and enjoy the show. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and jump into our sports segment brought to you by our friends over at Chico Rico Hot Sauce. Look, spicy never tasted so good. If you've never had, I'm going to tell you right now, you never had any hot sauce like this. Mustard based, straight from Costa Rica, all natural flavors, all natural ingredients, no preservatives. The best hot sauce that's going right now. If you haven't got yours, go out and get yours today. Get that 3-pack. You can go online and buy it. Matter of fact, I know Sam. I know you had a chance. I know you would mention it.
I ordered mine. It just hasn't came in yet, so I'm excited.
Okay.
I got the 3-pack too.
We'll do a taste test.
Yeah, them damn names scared me. I was like, Scotch Bonnet and Habanero and Ghost. I was like, yo, what my boy Tico trying to do to me? Like,
he goes in, but it's not the hot that you think. When you hear those flavors, like you said, you like, whoa, they are. Look, the habanero, man, you get some rice. You got the Sierra Lime, man. You put that on your seafood. I mean, it's amazing flavors. Like I said, spicy never tastes so good. You will enjoy it. I can't wait for you to try it. But we're gonna jump into a little football here tonight, and I think week 2, man, was pretty good. They had some pretty good matchups, and I want to start with your matchup, really, that kicked everything off, man. With the Pack and the Commanders. I know we had talked about it. We were all very excited about this matchup. But if we're going to be transparent, be honest, really the Commanders came out very flat. And the short week has a lot to do with it, especially when you're traveling. The Packers had home field advantage, but it turned out to be a pretty good game. And looking at it, the Pack really started the season strong again with another one. This one 27-18, and really going. This is I think I read somewhere it's the first time your guys have been 2-0 since 2020, or started 2-0 since 2020, which is I was kind of like, really, I didn't realize it had been that long. But watching it, hey man, but you guys are growing. Like Jordan Love was on point. He was instrumental. I think he threw for almost 300 yards, two touchdowns. Your boy Tucker Kraft, Kraft Cheese in the building. He had a career best night. He went 6 passes for $125, give or take, and a touchdown. What was your take though? Like, as a Packers fan and really looking at that game, because I know that was probably one you had scheduled, as a measuring stick early in the season. What was that like, man? And give us your breakdown on the game.
I mean, I thought it was an excellent game. I mean, you had 2 previous playoff contenders from last year. And I mean, it lived up to my expectations. Definite shout out to the defense. I feel like like I said, thank you, City of Dallas and Jerry Jones, for the addition of Micah Parsons. Him along with Quay Walker and Kenny Clark. Well, not Kenny Clark, he's gone. What's my other man name? Rashad Gary and company. Like, it's crazy seeing them fly off the line and the way that they're impacting the opposing team offensive line. And that's the skittish thing because, like, to me, the Commanders, one of their biggest issues or concerns, and, you know, I've been in the DMV for a long time, so I lived kind of vicariously through them as well, too. So at the end of the day, it's interesting to see, like, their offensive line has always been questionable to me. And that goes back for like the past 10, 15 years, which raises concerns because you look at it and now Jaden Daniels is hurt.
Yep.
You know, and that's a big concern. And to me, that's what the pockets or lack of depth that they have on their offensive line. I don't think that the score was really vindicative of the outcome of the game because when you look at the fourth quarter, it became like kind of like a charity event. You know, typical Matt LaFleur, he scaled back a little bit. And like I said before, like if you go to press your foot down on the gas, like you need to keep that going until that clock strikes zero at the end of the fourth quarter. But overall, Jordan Love, like you said, he navigated the field correctly. Because in typical fashion, this week it was Tucker Kraft. You know, last week it was Jalen Reed, you know, before he got hurt this game. But that's what I'm talking about. You never know who's going to be that number one receiver. And I like that because
I like that too.
You know, it kind of keeps now the defense has to sit here and guess because you don't know who is going to be the one. So I like the fact that we have like this plethora of doggone receivers. You know, hopefully Jaden Reed isn't as hurt. Is as hurt as, you know, they're saying it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. But this could give Matthew Golden this could be the perfect opportunity for him to step up. You know, hopefully Christian Watson gets back in the fold. But that's a love-hate relationship.
That's Mr. Sensitive right there.
Yeah.
You blow on him.
But at the end of the day, I am concerned about the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. We got Matt Mariota, you know, getting ready to suit up for this week. So, like, how much of that is going to have an impact on their gameplay? And Austin Eckler got hurt too, and that was crazy. Yeah, because like that was the reason why doggone the Chargers cut him to begin with, because he got hurt like a year and a half ago with the same injury. With the same doggone injury. So now I'm just like, are y'all kind of regretting letting, you know, Brian Robinson go? Because
we talked about that.
Yeah.
To me, that was the biggest no-no, even with the rookie coming in, just knowing Eckler's history. To me, I was like, you know, like, what do you do now? You got the rookies, I get it, but now you lost your pass down receiver. You don't have a guy that runs, you know, north and south between the tackles. Jaden is now already on a bum knee. Like all like the perfect worst storm is brewing already here in DC. And and I'll be honest with you, what makes it worse is I don't like to speak. Like the way that they talk is like they're still trying to lie to themselves, like they're still on last year's schedule or last year's team. This is a whole new year. Teams have scouted and prepared for them, and it's like they're in denial. And I don't when I watch some of the interviews and watch them talk, to me, I feel like there's so much more going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. Like they're one step away from imploding as a team, like straight mutiny. And I don't know what's going to fix it. And then you bring up a good point. Like here we are in week 3. Who would have thought Mariota would be starting? When you look at I think who is it? Minnesota is now looking at what's the other team? Damn, in the same division. So AJ McCarthy, Browning and what's his name? Former not Stafford, the other dude from Pittsburgh, from Philly.
Wentz. You talking about
Wentz? Wentz is
Yeah.
starting for Minnesota now, and then you got Browning starting in Cincinnati, which we're going to talk about. But we're already in week 3, and we've got 3 dramatic changes for teams that we were really looking at as potential playoff bound playoff teams that's
Yeah.
already in week 3 that are looking at potentially being behind the 8 ball, and it's just crazy. And I say that too because I just wanted to say this. I think Thursday night football games need to be dissolved because that's where you find, I think, most of the injuries come is the short week. The travel team gets the short end of the stick, and I think the injuries just pile up on Thursday nights more so than if it was just a Sunday to Sunday, type thing. And I think they need to figure out a way. I understand it's money and fans want to see it, but I think for the good of the sport and the good of the game, I think they need to get rid of it because this is where things get diluted down, and that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, that's fair. I At this point, I don't even think it really matters because we start. I mean, if I'm keeping it in the being, like we get injuries at the beginning during preseason.
Well, true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard. It is challenging. You know what I'm saying? Especially like when we start having these overseas games and everything, and it's on a short week and everything. That's when it gets tough right there.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff can be prevented as far as O-line needs to block, but some of it, like Eckler, was a doggone freak accident, and it's like, what do we do about that? You know what I'm saying? He had a no contact. He tore his ACL on a non-contact. Just
right. He
planted his foot down.
And snap, pop.
Yeah. And like I said, that's the challenging part about it. Like it's just for all the technology that we have and everything that they do to improve fields, improve equipment and everything, like, we still haven't mastered sustaining the human body. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that some of it does have to do with, the strength and conditioning that happens, off field. And like I said, it's tough because I know that Eckler worked up to get back to this point that he could actually play again. You know what I'm saying? And be formidable. You look at Nick Chubb destroyed his ACL, MCL, PCL, TCL, everything.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. And for him to come back and just run over, I forgot who was Houston playing. Was it Tampa Bay last night?
They playing the Rams. No, that
was it the Rams?
No, it was Tampa Bay.
They played the Bucs. Yeah, they played the Bucs, and honestly, he was running all over Tampa Bay, and I was happy to see him. You know what I'm saying? Up to that speed, but we still have those questions like, how long is this going to last? And it's not like we're looking for it, but you know the history with Nick Chubb, because I mean he messed up he tore his leg when he was playing in Georgia. Was it Georgia or Bama?
Yeah.
Georgia. He hurt himself then.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, and was out for a season. So you have some of these reoccurring things. You talk about Joe Burrow, like my man can't stay healthy worth a damn. Been on the team 5 years, and 3 of the 5 years he's been hurt.
Can't catch a break.
And
man.
now JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
He's turning into that too. Because he was like, this is technically his rookie season.
All over again.
And week 2, week 2, you hurt.
Yep.
So it's like, what do we do now? Like, how can you fix that? And you don't want that as an athlete. I don't want that stigma on me as far as like whether or not I can sit here and actually, am I going to be valid and healthy enough for the whole season? And they gave you the keys because they didn't want to pay Sam Darnold, and they sent his ass to doggone Seattle. So like, this is your realm now. Now I know Minnesota pissed off and beating themselves up. Like, damn, like maybe we should have, paid them.
We should have paid that money. We should have paid that little. Yeah, we should have paid that money. Yeah,
give them that skrill.
Yeah, man. Well, look, that's how we started week 2, but then we got into it. There was some pretty good games, man. One of the games I actually sat down and watched was the Colts and the Broncos, which I thought was a great game. And ironically, and I'm gonna tell you right now, because you're my brother and all, and I'm gonna tell you to your face, I'm sick of you. You and Danny Dimes. I'm sick of you.
Wait. Hold on.
I'm gonna tell you,
Indiana Jones. Danny Dimes is no more.
Right, you're right. Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Right. You're 100% right. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you. But I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you. I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Indiana Jones. I mean, he's just flicking it.
Yeah.
I mean, flicking it. And to watch the game, and I mean, look, Denver had an opportunity to win the game. The bonehead mistake with the penalty at the end,
Yeah.
and the interception that led, all of these things that led up to it. But
Hmm.
Indiana Jones, I mean, another standout performance, over 300 yards. He had a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown. He's helped the Colts get off to a 2-0 start. I
Yep.
mean, and I'm in my mind, I'm watching this, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck Sam. I'm not in my mind. That's what I'm saying. But you were so spot on. And look, I got to give him credit. He looked like he's grown. He's comfortable. He seems like he's got a team in an organization that's really behind him, his style of play, and what he does
Mhm.
well. And kudos to them for winning the game. I mean, it was a nip and tuck game. Bo Nix,
Yeah.
again. I was riding him last year, and I'm a big fan of his now. He showed promise. He held his own in the game. He had 3 touchdowns in the game. So it just came
Yeah.
down to that field goal. But did you have a chance to look at it, or like what's your take on that game and what you seeing from your boy Indiana Jones?
I mean, I'm more surprised at where the Colts are because I think we were praising Houston
Mm-hmm.
as far as like the team to beat in that division right there, and
Yep.
now the tables have turned. I figured that the Colts were going to be successful, but not at this
Mm-hmm.
magnitude. Like they're firing on
Right.
all cylinders across the board
All cylinders. Yep.
with Jones and doggone Jonathan Taylor rushed for over 165 yards and
Yep.
everything, and how Daniel Jones was able to spread the ball and give everybody love too. Like
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't the Colts team that I was anticipating. You
Same
know what
here.
I'm saying?
Same here. Same
And
here.
that just blew me. And you're right. That game could have went either way. That
Yep.
penalty at the end with the field goal,
Yep.
questionable.
It was questionable. It was questionable.
Like it's
I
like
see. I mean, I see it, but I was
okay,
like, you could have held off on
yeah,
that flag. You could have held off on that
yeah.
one.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they didn't need to do it, but they did it. So it's
Yeah.
like here we are. So
Yep.
once again, it's like I can't sit here and we have to give credit to where credit due. Because of
Agreed.
that, the Colts are now 2-0.
Yep.
I think there's that potential. I'm not going to put the Texans on the back burner, but it's getting to that point.
They got
Like,
some work to do though.
yeah,
They
because
got.
like right now, I'm looking at the Texans and the Colts. I'm not worried
Mm-hmm.
about I'm not worried about Tennessee,
Right.
and we're not worried about Jacksonville either.
No.
Even though
No.
Jacksonville did have a semi
Yeah.
decent game.
Whatever. It's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But like the two teams that we want, these are the two teams that we're talking about in that division. So the question now, like, how is week 5 going to look? It
Exactly.
is whether or not Daniel Jones is still going to have the same momentum or everything,
Exactly.
or is he going to just when we're giving him this praise, he's going to do that one thing, which I know we're going to talk about somebody else, to rear its head and bring you back and be like, oh, that's that dude that I remember. There goes Danny Dimes. So that's the bigger
Yeah,
question right
we're getting to that MF. We're getting to that MF. Trust me, we're talking about him tonight. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. And look, it's a breath of fresh air because we talked about it, preseason and coming into week 1. So it's a breath of fresh air.
Mhm.
And you're right. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
may he continue to chuck and duck and do his thing. And the Colts look good right now. It's early on. And then, by it being early on, we also had, Super Bowl 59 rematch. We had the
Yes.
Eagles and the Chiefs go at it. And I think this was highly anticipated because I heard one of the news shows here locally talking about it. This was the highest watched football game in the last 15 years. Over 35 million people tuned in to watch a week
Wow.
2 football game. So that
Yeah.
says a lot about these two teams, the matchup, the anticipation. I tuned in for a bit. And I mean, really, we're looking at Kansas City. I mean, this is their second loss to begin the season. I think that same thing last year. Um, the Eagles, when I really look at it, I mean, it's the turnovers really. I think that
Right.
really played the biggest part, especially when Kelsey of all people fumbled a pass that was intercepted, by
Mhm.
Mbuka or
Yeah.
Makuba. I'm sorry. So that was kind of like the ebb and flow and the change of the game, and they capitalized on that critical mistake. But tell me, and Saquon, he kind of got loose in this one. They bottled him up in the Super Bowl, but he ran for like almost 90 yards in this one. But I want to ask you this because we talked about it, preseason and everything, Sam. Like, are we really? Because it seems like it's coming to fruition. Kansas City is not getting the breaks that they were getting last year, but
Yeah.
they look very old and out of sync. And Patrick Mahomes is having to do, in my opinion, outside of throwing it to himself, he's doing everything else humanly possible to keep them afloat. But it seems like this year they're going to be coming up short a lot this year, and we've seen that in the first two games.
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple of factors in there
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't have his number one receiver with
True.
Shaheed Reed.
Yep.
He's also missing Xavier Worthy got hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to look in 6 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks when Reed come back?
Right.
How are we also going to look when Worthy gets healthy? I think that, but here's the thing: their offensive line is trash. You
Without
know what I'm
question.
saying? What's going on, Ryan OG? And I think that's one of the bigger problems that we have right now. But you look at an aging Travis Kelce.
Yep.
They have Hollywood Brown. You have Juju. Pacheco isn't the doggone. I don't know what's going on with Pacheco. He's actually pissing me off because I have him on my fantasy football. I was expecting, but no, let me digress because it goes back to the offensive line and everything. If you have these offensive
Right.
line woes and like they are destroying you, then how are we going to get the run up and running? So I think that's where it
Right.
has to start with your offensive line and getting that
Agreed.
protection because like this is the most since the Super Bowl actually that we've seen Patrick Mahomes get like pummeled like back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And like the disrespect with these sacks that's going on too. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's
it's
disrespectful.
it's pretty vicious. So I do think that this is the norm, and that's why I said it at the beginning when we were having our previews and everything. Like I don't think that as far as the conference and as far as their own division, like they're not on top anymore. Look
No.
at what Los Angeles, look at what the Chargers doing right now.
The Chargers, the Raiders, and what you call it,
Denver.
and Denver.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, the pressure on them. I mean, they potentially they have a long fight ahead
Yeah.
to even when we were already talking about them being the third best team in the division anyway.
Right.
But now it look like somehow I don't know what the Raiders have done. They've circled the wagons or whatever. Right now, though, they seem to be a legitimate team, that a formidable team that you can't just
Right.
go in there and cross them off as a W. They are actually a
Right.
team that you got to go in there and face. So looking at, are we really now looking at the closing of the curtain then for Kansas City?
Oh yeah.
And I think that's clear. And if they go down, if they start the season 0-3, I feel comfortable in saying it's going to be a hard way to go with those three teams in their division. Then you throw in what's going on with Baltimore and Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
And even we got to look. I I feel funny in saying this because he looks terrible when he's playing Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to give them a little. They have a legitimate chance too to make some noise,
Yeah.
long as he can stay
Mm-hmm.
healthy.
Yeah.
Albeit it's slow as hell, and it's not really pretty. But
Mm-hmm.
watching them, you got to kind of put them in the conversation too. So it's going to be really an uphill battle, for the Chiefs to move forward. But I
Yeah.
want to transition back to your division though, because there was another game that I think we both, when we first talked about it, we were excited because the NFC North is it's kind of like WWE or WCW when it was in its prime. Like we
Yeah.
got these two teams, these two Titans that we were looking at the Bears and the Lions, but it was really only one Titan that came, only one Titan
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
And the Bears got man, they got Molly Wop. They took him out to the shed. What was your take on that game?
Well, once again, I have to give you your flowers because like I was excited because I was like, Caleb got all these new toys. They invested in the O line. They came over here and unloaded on some receivers. They invested in the doggone defense. And look what happened Sunday. Now the goddamn thing. You know what? The Bears are trash. Now, I know I got some friends out there. If you on some of my social media platforms are Bears fans, I know that you're going to have some stuff to say, but I am firm with that. Like that was a true, like you just repackaged shit all over again. You know what I'm
year
saying?
After year.
and I know that they came over there and they was like, well, we got Ben Johnson now. But yeah, which is true. But like, and you were going up against the op, which you know they doggone playbook. Like you know how this thing operates because you ran it.
Didn't work. Murdered him.
None whatsoever. They got shellacked. It was like at the beginning of the first quarter, I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what happened. Like they gave Lions got some smelling salts or something like that.
Yeah, man.
And took a couple of totes, but like what my boy Jacob Fatu say, all gas, no break. That is exactly what the Lions.
Yes,
the Lions was ahead, and they could have brought in second. They could have brought in third string players against doggone Chicago first string.
They could have went to the parking lot, Sam. They could have went to the parking lot and got somebody.
Yeah, they were like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? They had over 500 yards total yards of offense. 500 total yards. You know, doggone. The Bears couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop nothing. Now, don't get me wrong; they were kind of head to head with them on the rushing yards. But once again, we see what Caleb Williams is. It was some hype. It was some hype, and I'm not going to say he's a bust, but
he's not good.
He's not good. It.
He's not good.
He's not it. And from what I'm hearing, allegedly, like, you know, you got Ben Johnson that's coming in and he's trying to be by the book, but then you have Caleb Williams who wants to go against the grain and kind of sit here and ad-lib and everything, but just get the regular plays down first. And then worry about all that ad-lib shit, you know what I'm saying?
I don't need you later. I don't need you making calls at the line. Run the play. Run the play that I sent in. Let's run the plays first. And then we'll break it down because I'm sorry, he's just not that good. And well, let's say this. Maybe he is, but maybe he's just better outside of Chicago because that seems to happen to a lot of teams. Players move on, they get a second, a fresh start, and you see the true talent. I was never sold on Caleb Williams. I don't wish him ill will, but he's not the move in Chicago. We saw that on Sunday. And I'm going back, and I'm saying this, look, Chicago fans, it's not that I'm a hater. I want you to understand, I know what garbage looks like. As a Giants fan, I know what trash looks like. And look, V, I know you in here somewhere, and I don't want you to get mad at me. We talked about this in the offseason, Sam. Giants, Cowboys. There's only one thing Russell Wilson can do, and we saw it. He can throw that 40, 50-yard deep that seam right. He that's the one thing he can still do.
You want to segue? Are we?
Please. Yes, we're segueing.
We're jumping into this right now.
Look, I'm already knee deep in this shit. It's already up around my ears.
I'm gonna let you have your moment.
Right, no,
you know what I'm saying? This is your team. This is your time.
I don't want to even talk about these bastards because one, I got a coach that's running JUCO packages for the second string quarterback. What kind of fucking college football shit is this? If you want to go with Russell, play Russell.
Yes.
Point blank, period. We're running JUCO college plays for Jackson Dart. Short, 3rd and 1, and he's slipping because he's so amped up to run the play. Like, look, stop.
Excuse me.
Let's just play Russell. Russell was fine. Okay. He was fine until he was needed to make a play. Now, I won't put it all on Russell because if I digress, I don't know what this is why I say the whole coaching staff, everything front office needs to be fucking, they need to just blow it up. You know you got a kicker on the other team that can kick from the other side of the 50.
Yes.
Why? We've been playing man in coverage the whole time. Why are we in a 3 deep? We got 3 corners playing 30 yards back. It's not going to stop anything because the dude can kick from 70 yards. So why not just play your regular man coverage that you've been playing all game? Make Dak have to beat you with his arm, right? Just make him beat you. But no, we give up, we give it up, and we let the dude kick it from the other side of the 50 to go into overtime. Okay.
Yep.
No problem. Both teams get the ball twice. All we need is a field goal. Who's calling the play to tell Russell drop back and throw to the outside while the receiver goes down the middle? I don't know. Like he can only do one thing. If you should have let him throw it down the middle, throw the seam route, but you have him throwing it out. Again, dudes are gas. We only need a field goal. We didn't need a deep pass. We were already like on the 30. Just run the clock, run the ball. But this is what happens when you're bad. When you are a bad team, you make bad calls. You play bad situational football. You're not prepared. And I get it. Both teams were tired. Oh, a field goal was all that needed to happen. And what did we do? We fucked it up. So Bears fans, I understand, at least on paper, you guys have a legitimate car. Where you go with a Lamborghini's body is just terrible. So I'm done for that. And Sam, please take it away.
You know, for 57, for 60 plus minutes, you know what I'm saying? We saw the razzle and dazzle of, Seahawk Russ. You know what I'm saying? He was out there slinging it, and Malik Neighbors was catching bombs, and what's my man named Wendell Robinson? He was over here catching bombs.
Robinson. Yep.
Scatterboo got a little bit involved in it and everything, and it was looking glorious.
He scatterbooing. Yeah.
But I like I said, it takes that one play. All right. Two, and for me, it's same. Like, I agree with you with everything. Like, as much as like when Russ threw the interception, which to me, look, like I would have rather him thrown it out of bounds versus sitting here. He wasn't even looking at nobody when he threw that ball. Nobody. And like my man Ron on Let Me Talk podcast, I told him it was a Make-A-Wish throw. You know what I'm saying? Because he lobbed that joint and like he made a wish or hope that there was somebody that was going to be downfield to sit there and grab it. And there was somebody. It was just the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, part two, like I was confused too. And everybody knew it. Everybody was saying the same thing. Why are we in a zone, a deep zone? You know what I'm saying? Why are we pressing a deep zone and leaving the middle so wide open? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we doing that right now? So it's twofold. You know what I'm saying? Shame on Russ for throwing that doggone interception. Shame on the defensive coordinator or whoever was calling the plays to tell him to be in that deep zone and give doggone sit there and give Dallas these deep pockets to make these easy passes and get what they needed to accomplish. Like that was trash. You know what I'm saying? That was really underwhelming because y'all had the game. Doggone Russ came over here and did the, you know what I'm saying, they love me now pose with his arms wide open and shit. And it's like, hug yourself, motherfucker, because you the one who threw that goddamn interception. So like I said, shame on you. Shame on that doggone defense. And Cowboys, don't sit here and act like y'all playoff bound. That shit was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to sit here and be thinking the doggone poor coaching that the Giants did. And no offense to you, V. You know what I'm saying? No offense to you, Dame. And if I have any other G-Man fans out there, no offense to y'all.
Terrible, bro.
But like, let's just keep it a bean right here. Like that was y'all game. That was y'all game to win. And it makes me even more. And like y'all know, I'm a Cowboys hater. But it's besides the fact. Goddamn, the Giants gifted y'all that doggone dub. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't get any better for y'all either, because I believe who y'all play next week. Who the Cowboys play next week?
Shit, let's take a look because we all on the same schedule.
Yeah, because I know everything's kind of like convoluted right now. But who y'all? Let's
take a look. Let's go.
Oh, they played the Bears. So we're talking about like two trash ass teams right here. So who knows what's gonna happen? I'm gonna call Dallas Monday and I'm gonna call the Bears Wednesday because those are trash days. So like we'll see the outcome of this doggone match. But like, and I wouldn't say it doesn't get any easier it doesn't get easy for the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do have some horrible games because y'all got the Bears. Y'all should win that one. Y'all got the Panthers. Panthers ain't playing the best right now. But y'all don't have the best when you're looking at strength of schedule. Like Dallas got a gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? But that goes back to the fact, like I think I'm more disappointed. I'm just disappointed in the performance that New York did. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what has me hot right now. Like that was literally y'all game, and y'all just. I feel like not Anakin, Obi-Wan, when he was yelling at Anakin, like you were the chosen one. We were rooting for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel right now, y'all. So
it's terrible.
I digress.
No, you good. Whew. And look, Ronell, see, that's why I don't bet either, bro. Giants will mess up anybody's money line. They'll put you out of your house. It's really painful to watch this year. And I really can't wait, to transition into, basketball and where we gonna go, because the Knicks have got to definitely be better. And before we transition, there's two things I did want to talk about really quickly. When we talk about teams, there's two teams we mentioned. One being the Cincinnati Bengals and their problems, and what are they going to do now moving forward? Do they have enough in Browning to hold on for the 2 or 3 months? Because I read a report actually, and I want to bring this to you, that allegedly your boy Malik is actually on their radar. A second and a third round to go to Cincinnati and kind of try to help hold things together. But one, do you think that's even feasible? Is Browning the guy? Because this is who they invested in, and he knows the system. But 2 or 3 months worth of football, man, that can go south, especially when their defense is already still shaky. So what do we look at them? And then I want to talk about Miami, because I think it's time for the coach to go. But let's start in Cincinnati first.
Okay. I don't think that Malik will make a lick of difference. Malik Willis, I don't think that he's going to make a lick of difference going to Cincinnati. Because like you said, as much as the biggest problem, and we've been saying it for like the past 5 years or however long, even pre-Joe Burrow, offensive line and defense. Defense has been shit tea. All right.
Yeah.
And there's just no combating that versus, they got Hutch, you know what I'm saying? But Hendricks, I'm sorry, they got Hendricks.
Yeah.
But other than that, like that's all that they have as far as like their defensive caliber. So it's like, but I could bring in this Band-Aid, but it ain't gonna stop the bleeding. It ain't gonna heal the wound. So, but they're well over cap. Between Higgins, doggone Chase, and an injured Burrow, that's where all your money is at. Like you had no room, and that was the biggest issue with them even re-signing Hendrickson to begin with. They pretty much ran out of money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So they didn't invest. They didn't invest in the areas that they needed to. I don't think they made a lick of a difference within the draft this year either. So bringing in another quarterback, it ain't going to do you no good because your defense is still below subpar.
So
and until you sit here and fix that, is like, what are we even talking about? And if I'm another quarterback, like, yeah, it will be a blast to sit here and play with Ty Higgins and Higgins, for Higgins and Chase. But at the same time, like that's it. I'll still be frustrated on the sideline because as soon as I score a touchdown, if I score a touchdown, I'm gonna be right back out there because my defense can't hold water right now. So what's going to be the whole purpose right there? So let Joe Cool sit here and get his surgery on his turf toe. Let him rehab. Jake Browning did look impressive. You know what I'm saying? But like you said,
while he was standing up, he did.
Yeah, he and that's why I was saying we still got issues with the O-line too.
Yeah.
But I would just keep him and keep on rocking and just stay afloat. Like, if he's going to be out 4 weeks, just try to win 2 games. You know what I'm saying? Right. to sit here and keep your name or keep the team in the running. Like if you dip, then it's going to be a more serious issue. But right now, I would just use Browning to stay afloat and go from there. Like
he seems to be a logical choice, right?
Yeah, if they're not going to fix anything else, why would I why sit here and invest and bring somebody else in?
Agreed.
For QB, because like the QB still going to get sacked. And now you have the probability of having like having two down quarterbacks. Like I don't want to be that liability coming into this organization knowing that like I could get rocked on my blind side and be out a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Or I could get my doggone leg rolled over because the offensive line is pushed so far back. Like
it's
keep
bad.
That energy. Brownie said that he felt comfortable. He'd been there 3+ years, so he's good to go. So y'all fine.
I think so. But now on the flip side, though, when I look at a team like Miami, they seem so disjointed. There's no love, there's no passion, there's no energy.
Right.
And part of me, when I look at them, honestly, I look at the coach. He's still stuck in his Miami Vice mode. And he hasn't really, to me, melded. I think he probably could be a good coach because when season 1, it was like NFL video football. This dude chucking in, they doing whatever. But since then, they've digressed so much. And part of it we do know is the Tua Tagovailoa. The injuries have really decimated him because he looks like a shadow of himself watching him play. And we talked about it. And we were not laughing at it at work, but we were some friends at work talking about it. Like dudes put on the air brakes when they get close to him. Like the defensive tackles, linebackers, when they get within like 3 yards of him, like they put on air brakes and put their arms up so they hit him with his chest. But is it time like just for a total change in Miami with the coaching staff? Tua, like the players, because they just look terrible. Like they look totally disinterested in what they're doing out there. So I'm curious to hear what you think, some of the problems are, what they should do.
So where can I start? All right. So quick story. When I was a kid, I'm like 6'3", y'all. For those who don't know me or never seen me in person, I'm a tall guy. Been a tall guy all my life. But my passion has always been football. So with that being said, it did come a point of time that I tried basketball. All right. And I was like in middle school or something like that. And I sucked at it. I wasn't good. And I'll wholeheartedly admit that. But I remember it was a kid and he had to be like 5'1", 5'2". And he looked up at me and he was like, "You got all that damn height and you're just wasting it." You know what I'm saying? Because I sucked at basketball. Well, that height is the Miami Dolphins. And the talent is what we've been seeing on the field. All right. And I know this from experience. And I see the frustration with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and company and everything. Like, they don't have nobody to sit here and rely on. Kind of similar to like when doggone Neighbors was popping off last week when we had that subpar performance by Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But the issue that we have now is that like they've been getting that for the past couple of years now because there hasn't been no consistency as far as like who's my quarterback, how reliable is my quarterback, and how long am I going to have my quarterback? And you brought up a point when you came over there and you said something about how defenses are being a little timid when it comes to Tua. But here's the thing, like they're getting to him. They're going to come across a team who doesn't care. And like, it's like, we said it last year, I'm concerned and I'm scared because
I am too.
Like somebody's not going to care and they go to rock him. And then like, I wouldn't want him to go out like that. Like I give, what's my man name? He used to quarterback the Colts. He's down at Stanford now.
You saw Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Andrew Luck. Yeah. I give him props because he got banged up and he was like, you know what? This isn't for me. But we look at previous quarterbacks. We talk about David Carr. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
we talk about and his woes of like I know the record just got broken recently, but it was 1 year he had like 71 sacks within a year.
He was
you know what I'm saying? And then it didn't matter where he went after that. He was so traumatized from getting hit. Like as soon as somebody comes with him, he'll sit here and drop like a sack of potatoes and everything. I just don't want like, you know, we make light about a lot of things, but like I said, I'm concerned from that perspective. And then like what's going to be the impact with that? You know what
Well,
I'm saying? If he if
what's the long term outcome for him?
yeah,
If
yeah,
what is he going to look like? And I
yeah.
agree with you,
And
and that's why I bring it up.
I I know that he said that he wants to keep on rocking and everything because like, you know, he wants to give everything that he has on the field, but I'm just
Mm,
like at this point like you not you're not doing what you need to, and you're becoming more detrimental to your team than being
yeah,
beneficial towards your team.
yeah.
And that's something that that the head coach over there need to sit here and look at. Like I know that he's your investment and everything, but you're here to win because if they don't make the playoffs this year,
Hmm.
was Mike? I forgot his last name. This is probably going to be his last year.
Oh, McDaniel, yeah,
Yeah,
look, Miami
yeah,
Vice Mike,
McDaniel's. Yeah,
the McDaniel's got
yeah,
to go. I think
yeah,
everything is on deaf ears. They're kind of spinning their wheels in
yeah.
place. I watched some of the game. There's no connection between, especially on offense. There's no connection
Mm-hmm.
between Tua and any of the players. They're super talented, and I just think it's just being wasted. From the coach and the team on down. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I'm like, I wish Tua would just go ahead and take a step,
Yeah.
take a step for himself, for his own mental health and his long term health period, and walk away from the game. But we'll keep an
Mm-hmm.
eye on it. And, really, it really leads into our next segment because, we have the NBA around the corner. And man, I'm super excited about the NBA because there's a lot that's going to go on this year. When you look at this upcoming season, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the Thunder really. I mean, I'm excited to see them attempt a repeat because there hasn't been a repeat. I want to say if I'm correct, uh, in almost 8 years, team hasn't
Mm-hmm.
repeat. As champion.
Yeah.
Look, there's parity in the East. They stacked in the West. The injuries alone that really loom have kind of changed the course of this season. When you look at, the Celtics with Jason Tatum, the Pacers with
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton, that dramatically, those two injuries alone, I think dramatically just kind of altered how the Eastern Conference is going to show out. The Pacers are going to have to adjust, without him. And then, the Celtics got Jalen Brown. Is he really worth that money? Is he really worth
Yeah.
all that bread that he got? We're going to find out. And now they got Anthony Simmons, joining him. Are they going to be able to work that retool roster in Boston? And then we got all the other trades that happened. KD going to Houston, with their new look. Boston again still dismantled. They got KP out. They sent him to Atlanta. Holiday, he went to Portland. Like it's a whole new look. So when we start, Sam, and let's start in the West.
Okay.
I have a couple of teams in my mind that I think that kind of sit at the top of the pecking order, and I'm the OKCs, the Houston Rockets, the Denver Nuggets, just to name three. But like, what teams are you looking at? Just brief synopsis. Three teams that maybe you're looking at to start out in the West, because the West is so stacked. But
I
which
know.
three teams like
So,
are you kind of
ooh.
marinating on?
Well, I do agree with you with OKC.
Hmm.
For one, they're super young. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And they still got like mad like draft lottery picks later on down the road. So I figure
yeah,
like this is going to be the team to sit here and continuously reload.
yeah.
If I had to pick another team, um, I am interested to see Houston because
Mhm.
I feel like they made a mistake trading Jalen Green for KD.
I agree with you on that.
I'm I was shocked and like it was like one of those what the hell moments. Like, what are we doing right now? So
I
that made
agree.
that kind of crazy.
I agree.
Because don't get me
Same threat.
wrong, like kudos to KD. I would never sit here and say anything to tarnish his legacy, right?
Mm,
Even though I know
mm.
that there's enough that can be said. However, like he's like my man's like what 37,
Thank you.
and beforehand, like that was another young squad. They were
Right.
averaging between 20. 24 to
I'm
25 or something
saying
like that.
you let a
Like they're
young
yeah.
dude go.
So how are you going to push with these guys? But we'll see. Um, and then I got a twofer.
Okay.
Like it's going to be two teams, but it's two teams that we're well aware of, and one is
Mhm.
going to be Los Angeles
Okay.
because now we got skinny Luca. But how long
Got fever.
does
Got fever,
yeah
Luca.
Slim how long does Slim Luca last? Because he gets
Yeah.
serious during the FIBA
Yeah,
tournament
man.
during
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
European
man.
tournament. That shit gets he gets heavy. He loses about like 30 pounds, and we're like, oh shit,
He's
like
out
he's
there
back.
balling, bro. Yeah, he's
Yeah, and
balling,
then
bro.
by like October or early November, he's back to Luke. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see that. And like like I said, the biggest challenge with, and I've been saying this for a while, I just think that hopefully the Lakers could sit here and build around Luca now because we already
Mhm.
know like not a lot of people want to go to LA and play with
Right. With
LeBron.
LeBron. Right.
That is, I don't care what anybody say. Y'all can sit here and argue that he's the GOAT and this and this and that and that, but don't nobody want to play with a
No,
41-year-old man up and down the court
no.
and just have that extra weight because he puts that extra weight on you because he'll pass you the ball in dire situations.
Right.
Um, but then on the flip side, it's like post Luca, how is Dallas going to look? Because when I look at their roster is stacked.
They have
Only
a
thing we need is Anthony Davis he's in a funk right now, so hopefully he could get out of that because I know that there's a couple of mental health things that are concerning that's going on with him. And not
right.
only that, he just had surgery too.
Mhm.
I want to say on his eye.
Yep.
And then like when are we going to see Kyrie,
Yeah.
suit up? Is it going to be in December? Are we looking at, post All-Star game?
Yeah.
And with the supporting cast with PJ Washington, I think we still have Exum, but then they picked
Mhm.
up D'Angelo Russell too.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
how are they going to sit here? Like, when you look at the bench and the starters on paper, Dallas looked cream. So, like, a lot of people ain't going to be sitting here talking about them, but I really like
Not to start.
if they're not on your radar, I would seriously add them to your radar right now.
I I will agree with you because I think one of the biggest things that I caught coming out of pre-camp, they were talking about moving AD back to his natural position at the 4 and
Yeah,
having, Gafford or one of the other guys play at the
Gafford or
5. Now,
Lively, probably.
yeah, right. So if they do that and because he's better off ball defender than
Yeah,
anything, and that's his natural position at a 4. I think you maximize what still has left in the tank as an all-star caliber player. And I think it makes
yeah,
them more deadly because, like you said, you have Gafford, Lively, and they have another. You got Exum. You got some bodies that you can still flip and play at that
yeah,
5 that give AD some longevity. He's not banging with big bodies. He can stretch the floor. So I think that gives you that in the interim, like you said, and until when does Kyrie come back?
yeah,
So you give him longevity, you give him some space, you put him out there. I mean, he's played with D'Angelo, when they were in LA, so there's familiarity there. I think Clay is still kind of the odd piece, but again, he's still a spot up. If you need that spot up 3, you still have that on the floor with the other players. You have a solid second bench coming from Dallas. So, like I said, I
mhm,
think for me, the key is with them, not what they look like at the start, but like when we get towards that December, January time
yeah,
frame, where are they? What time frame, like you said, are we looking at Kyrie potentially coming back? But if they're holding their own without him, I still think they're dangerous, and that gives them time to get him back in the fold, maybe by
right,
All-Star break, late February, early March, to give him that 15-20 game window, maybe of conditioning to get him ready for the playoffs. So I think it would be
yeah,
exciting. And I agree with you. Now I'm going again with another team that I think, that's under the radar, but it's up and coming. It has to be. I'm curious to see. A lot of people may not have them contending right now, but I want to see San Antonio. I still want to see the Wembanyama growth. They
yeah,
got a lot of hype. They got the young draft picks, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle. They have a
mhm,
very young roster that is so talented. But again, it's just about, you got to put that grind in, kind of like what Detroit has done over the last 2 years in the East. And I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like if Wemby stays healthy, because the dude, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Almost like it reminds me back in the day of Ralph Sampson, like when Ralph Sampson with the nimble body, the length, the hands, the touch, like before his back gave him problems, like he was a phenomenon. So to
Yeah.
look at Wemby, who's taller, slimmer frame, shoot, pass, dribble, the whole 9 yards, the evolution of that Spurs roster, I think, is going to be incredible to watch. So they're one of the teams that I want to keep my eye on in the West. But now we coming out here to the East, where the East is wide freaking open, and
Yes.
you can count it down just about any team. And to me, this year, outside of my Knicks, I definitely got to give Cleveland props because they're bringing back basically the same team that won 64 games last year. So let's
Right.
not. I mean, I laugh at them a lot of times last year because it's Cleveland. But we got to. There's another team that I want to keep my eye on is the Orlando Magic. They're young.
Right.
That boy Paulo Banchero. If y'all don't
Yeah.
know Paulo, a beast, man. Then they got the Frank Wagner kid. They added Desmond Bain this summer. And to no, was it yeah, it was Desmond Bain. I'm thinking the other
Desmond
boy.
Bain.
Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones was the other one. So they're my dark horse candidate to really step up. And teams going in reverse. I'm putting Philadelphia 76ers on blast. Embiid and Paul George. Paul George is spent. I don't care what he's cooked. So Philadelphia, until they figure out what they're going to do, because the process we don't trust no more, they're going to have to get up off of one of them two and start making changes and revamps because Philly is going nowhere fast this year. So who you got and what you looking at in these, Sam?
I think we have some similarities. Well, we do. I don't think. Cleveland. My top three is Cleveland, New York, and Orlando. None in any particular order. When I look at Cleveland, they were a first round bump. So, Donovan Mitchell and company, I wonder if they're going to have enough fuel to sit here and get past that hump.
Right.
I was really impressed, and we were talking about it. Like, shout out to Cat. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm not going to bring up Minnesota because Minnesota, y'all fumbled the bag with who y'all picked. So I know the Knicks are very appreciative that they got Karl Anthony. But once again, they went all the way to the finals, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of heart there. And I see a repeat of last year happening as far as them keeping it tight up in the top three, top five, as far as the conference and everything, and making that same push that they did this previous year into the playoffs. And then, like I said, Orlando Magic, you brought up a good point as far as Banchero and all the additions that they've picked up this offseason and everything. They're another young team with a lot of speed. So I would definitely have them. I don't even think they under the radar. They're on the map.
They're on the map now.
If y'all haven't sat here and peeped out a Magic game, check them out so you can see what we see too. Of course, I agree with you in Philly. And we were talking about this last year. The process is over. Ben Simmons came back. You know what Ben Simmons did? He retired. So he's trash.
Yeah.
Paul George, I don't know what's going on because he has Pressure P or whatever his podcast is called, and he's more focused on that during the season. Let me repeat that. He's more concerned about his podcast during the NBA season than being out there on court and doing what he needs to do and what he's getting paid for. So, look, NBA teams, y'all could donate to two mics up in particular, Dame NYC and, Big Ace, Sam Adams. Y'all could just donate his proceeds to us if y'all just want to waste money. And y'all can sponsor us. And I'm
telling you, bro.
I can sit here and sponsor us, and we will say all good things about Philly. Man, however, I'm letting them know, y'all wasting money right now. All right, bro. I don't know which Paul George y'all are expecting to see, but y'all probably go to see the same one that we saw with the Clippers, which was null and void. Okay, so and if you keep Joel Embiid to this 40% play time or whatever, You're
It
going to
sounds
be in the same bag that you're in right now. So, like, y'all,
man.
a shakeup needs to happen in Philly.
I agree.
Y'all know this. Y'all are Philly fans, 76er fans. Y'all are well aware of the state of emergency that y'all are in with your NBA team.
It's terrible.
Okay,
It's terrible.
so like, yeah, like if y'all want to go through these woes again, like so be it. It's on you. But that's just what it is. Like, go ahead and give us that salary. We don't mind.
Look, I don't mind. Look,
Okay.
2 mics up. We will gladly take it. We will. We look forward to taking on new sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
No conversation is a bad conversation.
None whatsoever.
I really appreciate it. And look, that's been it in the bag. If you had to right now, it's preseason. We haven't even gotten into preseason games.
Yes.
If we had to look at Final Four, Eastern Conference Championship, Western Conference Championship, who you got in either conference final?
In the finals, Final
And
Four.
The Final Four. The Final Four.
So 2 from the East, 2 from the West.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay, so from you know what? I think it's going to be Cleveland and New York in the East.
Mm-hmm.
The West is so hard though.
And
like
that's where the problem starts right there.
Well, okay, I would say, and I said this before: to be the man, you got to beat the man. So
Agreed.
I would have to keep OKC up there as one, but it's like, who is the number 2? Because like you could throw a dart. Like,
Yeah.
is this going to be KD's resurgent and he leads this young Houston team to a playoff bid?
I don't think so.
Answer's probably no. Is this going to? And we didn't even talk about Denver, but like I really
they retooled with Valanciunas and the other boy.
but they're still kind of old though. That's my,
true.
and I don't mean that in an
That's
offensive
true.
matter.
That's true.
But they just don't have the speed. I would say they don't have the speed of Houston, but they have KD now, so that tempo is going to be slowed down a little bit. But even looking at Minnesota, looking at doggone OKC, LA could come into fold somehow. Are they going to have, like, they have the size to bang, because they're going to probably have the biggest 2-man on court as far as like size and height.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, with Joker and Valanciunas. So that's going to be the challenge right there. I mean, I'm biased. I'm probably going to say I think, like I said, I think Dallas. Yeah, if absolutely. But like, I think a lot of people are going to be sleeping on that team just for the fact that we're not hearing nothing about Kyrie right now, and that there's a lot of there's a lot of mental stuff as far as like health issues that's going on with them. But like once we get Kyrie back, it's going to be a wrap. But as the incumbent, because I can't say the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. Like, I get it.
Let's not even lie to ourselves.
Still, at the end of the day, they just got Luka and LeBron. Like, let's just keep it a buck right there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's going to be a glimmer, but they're going to come up short, and they might just be involved in the play. I can see them making it to the play-in and then a first-round bust. But yeah, I hate Gobert, so I'm not going to sit here and say fucking Minnesota.
You're not gonna do Minnesota.
I'll go with a soft. I'll go with a soft Houston. I'll go with a soft Houston.
I think for ratings that would be great, but I'm like you. I'm looking at OKC in the West, and I'm going to give them the rematch with Minnesota. When I look at all the other moves, and I only say this because all the other moves on paper look great, but there's a team that just stayed solid, right?
Yeah,
and they've done it 2 years in a row. To me, they still have the best fit. There's no readjustment period. There's nothing that needs to be done. We've seen what happened with Anthony Edwards and my man that was here in New York. They kind of caught their rhythm the second half of the season. All the other teams had to make moves to get better, and I think they will. Without making the moves, I think they did themselves just fine. So I'm gonna go with a rematch, and then same in the East. I really do want to say Cleveland, but I have a hard time with any type of success coming out of Cleveland. I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't. So if I have to, and not to be a homer, but I'm a homer. My Knicks, the problem with the Knicks is going to take all season because there's a new coaching staff, there's a new style of play. I do like
Yeah.
the pieces that we've gotten, but I'm just concerned how long is it going to take for them to gel? And it's no more pound the rock with Jalen Brunson and cat high low pick and roll. This is going to be an action offense. So I'm just a
Yeah.
little scared on how long that's going to take. But I think with the end, this is our year, at least to get back to
Hmm.
the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not stupid to say championship yet. I got to see what's going on. But I'm
Right.
going to put the Knicks. And man, if I have to be honest, I'm gonna go with Orlando. Uh,
That's spicy.
yeah, because I gotta spice it up a little because I just think they were on the rise. Same thing like Detroit. Like we didn't talk about Detroit, tonight, but we talked about them a great deal last year. They do have a
Hmm.
fight. They do have a program that works for them. They have some young, talented guys, but there's
Yeah.
something missing with Detroit. I don't know if they need another scorer. They need somebody else to go with Cade to kind of take that pressure off of him of having to be the guy every night. So I don't see that there. But when I look at Orlando, the pieces that they have with Paulo Wagner and a couple of other Desmond Bain on the defensive side and Tyus Jones, I think they put some extra pieces around them that give them a better because they were a terrible 3-point shooting team. So looking at
Yeah.
some of the they've opened up, the game a little bit. I'm gonna put my money on them right now. I'm betting on Orlando right now. It's early,
Okay.
and we can always come back to this, but that's what I'm going with. And we'll see come June 2026 how this all turns out.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all for joining us. Before we go, Sam, you got any last words or anywhere people can catch you, check you out, and where you doing your thing at?
Well, I'll be floating around. You can catch me on Twitch. If you're on any gaming platforms, because that's what I do on my spare time, you can hit me up, Osarge Gaming, on everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Um, Also, let me see what's up. Shout out to Let Me Talk podcast. To my homeboys, that's where Ronell comes from. If you looking for some wrestling items right there, hit them up and check out their podcast too. Um, what else? What else we got? That's really it. Like, just catch me on the sticks. Borderlands came out, so I've been really heavy on that. In the next couple of weeks, Battlefield 6 comes out. Um, and I'll be prepping. I know there are a couple of veteran organizations that's going to be doing some tournaments and everything. So I'll be getting involved in that just to show face. But other than that, that's it. Just chilling.
All right. Well, look, y'all check out Old Sarge Gaming. I mean, he gets it in. Man, one of the best people, one of the best human beings I've been blessed to know in my lifetime. He's a great guy. Check him out. Give him a run for his money, and come back on the show and come talk some ish. Let us know how it all turned out. Have some fun. Shout out to Ronell Duckin and the whole crew over there, man. Great show. Appreciate them joining us here on Two Mics Up. You know, every other Tuesday, 8 p.m. We sit down, Sam and I, we talk a little sports, a
Here.
little entertainment, and do what we do, have a little fun. You can catch me. I'll be back next week. I'll be sitting down with Ronell Ricardo Parham. He's an actor, director, CEO, and founder of 5R Promote Productions. He's got some film out and some workout on Peacock, Tubi, and Prime Video called Odd Man Out, and he's a multi-time winning award-winning director. We're going to talk about his career, how he really went from nothing, turned it into something, and now how he's winning. So check me and him out next week, Wednesday, September 24th, right here on Two Mics Up at 8 p.m. Share with some friends, come join the conversation, hang out with us, uh, and hear some insight, on film and TV industry. For those of you who maybe or know someone who's interested, come check out the conversation next week. Like we do, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of each and every show, I want to say thank you. I'm your humble host, Damon Cunningham, aka Dame DNYDC. There's been another episode of Two Mics Up. Oh, ain't no man, you part of the family now, bro. You can't run from this. Hey, you gonna get it. You gonna get it,
Win
bro.
like Lynn.
You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all again, man. And whatever you do tonight and for the rest of the week, may you have nothing but a life filled with purpose, reach out and touch someone, make a difference, because this world that we living in, man, is bananas. I appreciate you all. And like we do at the end of each and every show, going to ask you all to stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.